So today I'm interviewing my brother Steven, who's a real estate sales agent, and here we go. How long have you been selling homes?
Going into my third year. I got licensed February 1st, 2012. And yeah, so I suppose I'm going on in 2 years and 2 months.
So what got you interested in business?
Actually, believe it or not, I was interested in high school for some time. In high school, I think my freshman and sophomore year, I was interested in architecture and CAD and stuff based on just how much I used to enjoy drawing and things like that. And then I think it was closer to my senior year, I decided that I wanted to do real estate. And once I got into college, I just completely forgot about it. So there was from 2007 to 2011, really even up into 2012, there was no consideration at all. So it was something I thought about when I was younger, about your age, and it kind of came in later in life when I was had the different job that I had. I was in the fitness industry, as you know, personal training and management, 24-hour fitness, a lifetime. One of my clients was a real estate mogul, residential real estate, just really successful. And anyways, I trained him for quite some time. I trained his wife, I trained his kid, I trained him, and we had a good relationship. And he basically offered me an opportunity that I couldn't pass up. So just kind of doing. That's how it's basically started.
So right after high school, what did you do?
I went to college for about 2 years, and I dropped out. You might remember I was thinking about doing dentistry, shadowing, and getting all my prerequisites for dental school. But I just, once I decided I didn't want to do that, I didn't really feel like I had a strong desire to finish. Another 2 years, I absolutely hated it. Yeah. So the question was.
So what other did you have any other schooling besides that after high school to get your license or?
Well, yeah, I had education that was required for real estate.
Mm-hmm.
I got certifications for personal training and all that kind of stuff. But when I actually got into real estate, before you can get licensed, before you can even take the license exam, you have to take courses that meet the requirements of the Nebraska Real Estate Commission. So I took courses at Randall School of Real Estate. That's a real estate school located on approximately 114th and Western Road. And there I took principles and practices, kind of like the business side of real estate and just the history of real estate and how the market changes and how real estate adapts. And then I took finance, which is the financing portion, dealing with mortgage payments, interest payments, just basic real estate calculations, etc. And then I studied for the real estate license exam, and I took that. So that's the education.
Would you say going through that schooling to get your license and everything, all together, was pretty expensive, or?
It really wasn't. It was actually, I think at Randall I probably spent a total of, I don't know, maybe $350, and then for the license exam portion, studying and sitting for the exam, it was probably another $400. So roughly about $700, $800.
So do your hours pretty much vary throughout the week, or?
Yeah, they do, and they vary all the time. There's one moment where you think the market's going to be pretty slow and your business will be slow and you're absolutely slammed with work. And then there's times during the peak where you're busy, but you're not even as busy as you are when the downtime is supposed to be. But I'm actually busy pretty much all the time. But a lot of real estate, like most self-employed jobs, it's extremely important that you manage your schedule correctly. You have good time management skills, and you have productive hours. It's very easy to just work 40 to 50 hours a week and not be productive, not do things that are good use of your time. So what I've slowly got better and better at, which I've never worked that much since I got into the business, but the most important hours you can work in this business is getting in front of people, meeting with people, showing people houses, sitting down for listing appointments. So there's follow-ups involved, on emails and doing paperwork and that kind of stuff, but that's kind of a small portion, or at least you should want that to be a small portion. You want to, the more you're with people, the more houses you're selling, the more business you're doing. So, one week I could work 10 hours a week. One week I could work 20 hours a week, and then there could be a 3-week stretch where there's 10, 12-hour days. It just depends.
So when like the market's going up or down, is that like just something you can tell because you're selling houses, or is there?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, before I got into the business, I did watch the markets. When I was in personal training and management, and starting to make money, I decided to start investing and saving and stuff. And I think the older you get, you become more receptive, and you follow the markets a little bit. You don't follow them really closely and make decisions based on whether markets are up and down, but the real estate market is a very strong indicator for how really the economy is doing, based on where the interest rates are at, based on the number of homes selling, whether it's a buyer's, seller's market. I mean, there's a lot of things I think I can predict based on just my brief experiences, as well as researching and educating myself on the previous market cycles. But yeah, I mean, everything cycles. Politics cycle. Obviously, we have, there's just a lot of things in life, the cycle, the economy cycles. And with that said, the real estate market cycles. So in 2001 to 2005, the market was really strong. It just continued to take off. A lot of lending that shouldn't have been given out to people that couldn't afford homes, that got loans that they, like I said, they shouldn't have qualified for. The market tanked. We had a great recession, in 2008 to 2011, and now we're in the recovery stage. Well, how it works is we slowly get back to our old ways. The banks start lending more. The government starts, loosening restrictions and whatnot, and what that does is that slowly gets you back to where it was. So, I mean, as far as a prediction standpoint, I mean, the market will turn. I mean, it'll turn in the next probably 4 years. Probably within 2 years, we'll start seeing foreclosures go up, and we're already seeing builders that they're just overstretched. They got too much skin in the game. They got too many assets tied up, and they're not moving their business as much as they can. So I think there's effects that you notice in residential real estate that correlate to signs of a market that's starting to struggle or still working to recover. So yeah, it's hard to predict, but I kind of think of it as I'll actually probably even do more business when the market does turn, because more than about half the agents fall out of the business, and the top producers, the guys that are already working hard, they basically gobble up all the other business. They're basically taking on what's left over. Yeah. So it actually means that they're already doing well, but because there's even that much more competition falling out of it, they're even doing more business. So.
Nice. So did you learn a lot of in the schools, did they teach you sales expertise, or did you learn a lot of that by selling training?
Yeah, so that's a good question. It's a really good question. I mean, you always want to, before you get into a pretty serious sales job where there's a license involved, where you're working with you're working with people, you're handling such a big part of their life. I mean, it's such a big transaction. There's so much money involved. It's extremely important that you're well balanced and you're experienced in sales. So I was in fitness for approximately 3.5 years. I was still in fitness while I was starting my personal training career, to have that buffer of income while I was kind of getting started. And yeah, I mean, selling trainings, selling really any products that either of those companies prepared, the work ethic I developed, the personable and the relationships and building rapport, acquiring contact information, having good communication, all those things kind of prepare you for the next step, So, I mean, technically, real estate could prepare me for something in the future too,
Yeah. So what is a good way to draw on a buyer, a potential buyer, or someone you might want to
That's a good question.
Sell their house?
So all my business is generated from mostly open houses, some referrals, but a lot of open houses, I'll do open houses in my listings. I'll meet people there, and I've mastered the what to say and how to offer a service that a lot of people just they really just they're looking for something that I offer a service that I feel like a lot of agents can't offer. And with that said, I pull in buyers, and you build trust with them at the open house and stuff, and you tell them about what you can do for them, and they're excited. They almost are asking you to work for them. So how I pick up buyers is open houses. How I sell houses isn't really just selling listings and helping people buy houses by showing houses. I actually take advantage of right now we're in a market where it's kind of a seller's market, which means there's a lack of supply of homes on the MLS. There's not very many homes for sale. It's contributed to some of the recession, and a few years after the market was starting to recover, the federal government, they lowered rates so low, and what that causes so many people to refinance their homes. When they refinance it, the interest rate's lower. They might even pull equity out, and their mortgage payment, the payment they pay for their home every month, it actually goes down. So in retrospect, they lose motivation to sell and move. They become more and more content. And that's a big contributor to why there's not a lot of houses in the market. So what I offer to people is that I can go find them houses off the market. That means that they tell me exactly what they're looking for. I scan past transactions in the MLS. I search for properties on the Douglas County SARPI assessor that match their needs and specifications that are within budget. Maybe someone's looking for a house in Oakdale or Swanson area, and they want a certain style with this many bedrooms within this budget, this size of yard. I basically make flyers, and I go door to door, and I take the aggressive, unconventional approach, and I go find my buyers, sellers, basically. And it's very rewarding for my buyers, and it happens to be very rewarding for the seller, because a lot of times there's a lot of people out there that are considering selling. The thought process is there, but they don't have the exact motivation, and that's where I come in. So.
So what would you recommend to someone who wanted to jump right into real estate right after high school?
Yeah, it's a good question. Probably get into a sales job beforehand. I mean, it would definitely be recommended. I wouldn't say it's an absolute must, but with any job where you want to be successful and there's sales involved, and you got to get in front of people. It's a lot of it's confidence and experience with working with people. If you have confidence yourself because you've worked with people and you've sold people products before, you're gonna have confidence to sell people even bigger products or sell your service. So, I mean, in a perfect world, I think you'd want to have not only maybe 2 to 5 years of sales experience, preferably, but you'd want to have some success with your sales too. I truly believe there's some people out there that are talented enough and sociable enough. They're social enough where they could probably step right into it and do okay. But like I said, it all comes down to the amount of confidence you have when you start the business. Because what makes you a successful realtor is not just understanding what the differences are between different houses and being able to have a ton of experience and answer lots of questions according to different kind of materials and types of houses. I don't really know a whole lot about houses, I'll be completely honest with you, but I know how to serve people, So people, when they think about getting into real estate, they think about getting this licensing exam, and then there's the missing link is not having the experience of working with people, So they I don't know. So yeah. What was the question?
What would you recommend for I don't know?
I mean, I would recommend some sales experience beforehand, whatever it is, Like a car salesman's not going to really make a very good real estate salesperson. However, a person maybe in the, someone that maybe just enjoys talking to people and and has the work ethic to work, has a desire to work hard, but it's just really outgoing that person might do better than a person with 20 years of sales experience. You know, it just all kind of comes down to how hungry you are and how motivated you are and how confident you are. And I would say the biggest factor is the confidence. You have to have confidence to go out there and get business, you know? So,
Well, thank you so much for letting me interview you.
my pleasure.
All right.
My pleasure.